Hey team, Patrick here, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to effectively approach the net in singles to help you win more matches. This is going to be such an important tactic as tennis is a game of errors, and even Federer, when he was winning all of his Wimbledon titles, was only converting around 52% of the points when at the baseline. But when he came to the net, he was winning about 68% of the points. This is because at the net, we can create more angles. We take time away from our opponent, so we're in control of the point, and they make more errors as we force them to do something with the ball. So let's get into it. Firstly, when should we approach the net? And this should either be if we've put our opponent under a lot of pressure, they're off the court, they're struggling to get the ball back, where they're going to float the ball up in the air and give us a lot of time to get into the net. Or if the ball is short, we don't want to approach the net from too far back behind the baseline, as we're going to end up with a difficult first volley around the service line, picking it up off our shoes. It's going to be too low. So we want to recognize that the ball is short early and get our feet up inside the court so we don't let the ball drop, where now I'd have to slow my swing down, or I've got to lift it up with a lot of top spin. As if I try and hit the ball hard when it's too low, it's just going to go long. So I want to take the ball more at the top of the bounce, where I can flatten it out. Here, I call it turn, up, top, turn. I see the ball coming, I make a turn, I get my feet up early, I take it at the top of the bounce, and I can turn again. Something that is important to note though is this shot doesn't have to be a winner. Remember, this is an approach shot where we're setting up for our volley. And I see far too many players, especially juniors, and they come up and they slam the ball out as they're trying to go for too much. They're trying to go for a winner with the first ball. We're going to use this to build the point and follow it into the net to knock off the volley. So I've placed my approach, I'm coming into the net for the volley. I need to change to this chopper grip, this continental grip. I want to get my racket up, out in front of me, so I'm ready, and to encourage me to go and meet the ball in this position with the volley. I want to track my ball and position myself slightly on the same side of the court as the ball to bisect the middle of where my opponent can play their passing shot and force them to hit directly across my body into this smaller space where I can go and cut the ball off rather than leaving them the whole line. Players tend to position themselves too centrally as they don't want to give up what they feel is this space cross court, but they're thinking about where the ball's going to land. But remember, we're taking the ball out of the air with the volley, so we're only concerned with where the ball crosses the net, and this is gonna put me in the best position to cover the angles. And split step, one of the other biggest mistakes I see is either a lack of split step, or players thinking that they need to split step in a certain position, but it's not going to be the positioning of the split step, but the timing of the split step. I'm going to time my split step with when my opponent hits the ball. As if I'm still moving, well, now I can't change direction and I can't use the correct volley footwork. So if I have to split step a little bit further back around the service line, no problem. I split step, I play my volley Well, now I can move again to close the net down, but don't get too close to the net. You want to be around halfway between the service line and the net, as if you get too close, you're now going to be vulnerable to the lob, which is going to be a common shot for our opponent to hit when they're under pressure. So if we want to be positioned on the same side of the court as the ball, then I want you to approach down the line. Now, of course, we can approach cross court in certain situations. For example, if I know my opponent has a particularly weak backhand, or I've got a lot of court space to hit into, but generally we're going to approach down the line as I'm already in position to cover the down the line passing shot from my opponent. Right guys, there you have it, how to approach the net in singles. Now we will cover the footwork in more detail in a future video, but I want you to please go out and try this in your next match. And remember, if it doesn't work first time or every time, don't get discouraged. We're going to win around 70% of the points if we approach the net off the right ball, where if we'd stayed back, we might only win 50%. So force them to come up with the lob or the passing shot again. If this video's helped, please leave it a like, share, comment, and I'll see you on court in the next one. Cheers, guys.